Ulonkata bati yada to ye kuma da ifa. Inu to ye ko je love bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Zongo eshu, ogun oya osun. Kini sheshe, tan she nile yo. O jalo jara.
Alafia, peace and power tribe. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Arisha Bami, and we are back with another Friday Night live stream. And we got a very special guest in the building tonight, family. We have the director of the film series Out of the Darkness and Heavy is the Crown, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Brother Amadeus Christ is in the building, family. And before we get into Brother Amadeus Christ, I want to share a clip of his last documentary that just dropped. I think November 11th, right? The last one, Volume 2.
Officially, yeah.
Okay.
It hit all the major platforms February 3rd.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So I'm gonna share this clip real quick with the tribe, man, and I'll be ready to tap in and get this thing cracking. So let's get to it, family.
Oh, good.
Spirituality, that's a relationship between you and divinity, you and that which is divine, you and that which is responsible for all creation. Religion means to bind, to hold, to control.
Religions have been used as the primary agent of dominance and control of African peoples.
If you control the mind or the thinking of any person, you control their reality.
Religion only means to realign. Means to go back to align yourself, because everything was God.
Spirituality is I'm embracing the universe. It's based upon knowledge, wisdom.
Western religions is an Western interpretation of an African theology and cosmology that has existed for thousands of years.
We are not looking at the world through our ancestors' eyes. We are impacted by concepts of a white creator God that created all things, and particularly a male God.
The children of Africa that left out of Africa, they begin to have a struggle with the feminine and the masculine as oppositional energies, and really wanted the masculine to be primary.
It was principally men who crafted this notion of the divine in masculine terms and left out the women.
It is without doubt that the ancient cultures of the world were matriarchies, not patriarchy.
And so there were images of this black mother and child that were regarded as the black Madonna and child.
They understand that their version of the Madonna child is simply their rendition of an archetype. And that archetype is black.
The woman was revered as a creator.
God creates. A woman creates. So maybe the true gods on this earth is women. And we as men would sit here to protect God while she creates.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, family, peace and blessings. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to the tribe, man. For those just joining us, we are about to get live and get into it with the brother Amadeus Christ in the building, man. Peace and blessings. What's good with you, brother?
I'm chilling, man. That trailer kind of hard, don't it?
Yes,
I haven't seen it in a while. Every time I'll watch it, and it's been a while, I always watch it from an objective standpoint, like I'm not the person who made it.
Yeah.
But I would, if I didn't If I hadn't seen that movie, I would be excited to go see it.
Listen, y'all better check it out, man. And matter of fact, look, don't start there. Start with Out of the Darkness first, then go to volume 1, then go to volume 2. So that way you get the whole, you know what I'm saying? You get the whole meal. You know, you don't want to jump right into the main course and dessert before going to the, you know what I'm saying, the appetizers and then, you know, the salad and all that. You want to make sure you get the full course meal, man. For real, for real.
It's a full plate. It's a full plate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, I want to get deep into it, man, because you know, I've been a fan of the work for a minute, really since Out of the Darkness came out, because you have like the legends, you have all the master teachers, you got all the legends of, you know, this thing we call consciousness, you know, in the so-called consciousness community. So that within itself is what attracted me to the very first one. And then of course you got Baba Kaba from that thing, and that's like my version of Malcolm, man. So to see him, I was gonna check that out, you know what I mean? So with that, before we even get into it, because I know there's a lot that I want to get into, like the name, brother. How did the name Amadeus Christ come about?
That's a good question, man. Okay. So it originally started as Amadeus the Christ child. That's what it was. It's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but
hold on, let me highlight you. I'll pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. It was my first tattoo. My first tattoo I ever got back in 2005. So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, okay, so Amadeus, it's a triple entendre. The name is a triple entendre. I got it originally, believe it or not, from you know, Mozart's name is Amadeus. Mozart's middle name is Amadeus.
Wow, I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, so you know, I come from I was a rapper, producer, engineer before I stumbled onto film kind of accidentally.
Gotcha.
Raised in Oakland, California, you know, had a couple record labels out there that I was supervising, started. But make a long story short, being musically inclined, that too accidentally, I came across the movie Amadeus. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Amadeus,
I haven't seen that.
but it's from like the mid 80s, and it's, if you haven't seen it, check it out, man. It's a pretty deep film.
That's what's up.
You know, I'm not gonna spoil the film, but I saw the film. So I was inspired to kind of take the name, but I put my twist on it. My real government name is Christopher. So
Gotcha.
that's where the Christ come from. So I combine Amadeus, but if you break Amadeus down, and I didn't know this at the time I took the name, but you know, the god of the Dogon people is Ama.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ama, and then Deus means God, I think in Latin, or it might go back to Greek, but Deus means God, right? And then you have Christ in there. You know what I mean? So that's where so then if you further break down Amadeus, you have the A, which is the alpha. It ends with a Z, which is the omega. Right. And then if you take out the A and the Z, you left with MADU. Right. So it's the alpha and the omega made you.
That's dope.
You get it?
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So it's just a deeply spiritual name to me, you know, relating to music and then relating to spirituality. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Nah.
So it was Amadeus the Christ child. And then when I jumped on Facebook in 2008, 2009, Facebook wouldn't let me do the Christ child, because Facebook, you got to have a first and the last name. So I dropped the Christ child and just put Amadeus Christ. And that kind of just stuck. So that's where officially Amadeus Christ came from.
That's what's up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, nah, that's dope, man. It's so crazy how like the synchronicities with things come about, because I had a similar almost like an aha or deja vu moment about a month or two ago. Like the theme song to the channel is from an artist in Nigeria. Shout out to 100 and nothing. And he has some dope music, man. But he speaks and sings a lot of his music in Yoruba. So some of it's in Yoruba, some of it's in English. And so the song that just the intro and the outro to the channel, I fell in love with it, and I felt like it was a dope representation of what the energy and the ashe, that I wanted to go for with the channel. But he came on for an album release party about a month ago, and I was like, "Yo, what does the song mean?" And he broke it down. He was like, "Pretty much, it's it's an ode to the ancestors. It's a very ancestral, song." I'm like, "Yo, that's crazy," because this channel it came about from the ancestors. Like the ancestors gave me the download, to start the channel when I wasn't even ready. But they were like, "We don't give a damn about you being ready. You're gonna start this channel." And so now I'm grateful for it, but it's like I had no idea. So the synchronicities of how alignment happens is dope, man. And I can only imagine how much further that goes into your journey and the process of you becoming not just an artist from the musical and the engineering and the graphic perspective, but also an artist within the world of film, man. And so with that, how did you first find like that first itch when you knew that film was going to be your thing? Because coming from the artist world, being a musician, I feel like a lot of people, when you're an artist, art is not limited, it's not put into a box. So clearly you took yours outside of that music box, and then you it sounds like it morphed into the film. So how did that transition or transformation come about?
Bro, I'm such the most unlikely candidate to do what I'm doing right now, bro. I never imagined myself doing film, so I feel you on the synchronicity thing. So what got me into film was two things, and I'm not gonna go into a long drawn out story, but essentially, when I was doing music, right, started off as a rapper. I'm giving you the super condensed version. Started off as a rapper. I was going to this studio frequently, and the studio shut down. The dude who ran the studio told me one day I showed up, and dude, this was back in the early 2000s when they were still recording on reel to reels. So he shut the studio down, and then he was like, Amadeus, I'm shutting the studio down, but I'll sell you this drum machine. I'll sell you this MPC. Right. And I didn't know anything about music production, but he sold me the MPC for like $1,200. So I bought the MPC, it's a drum machine. So I'm tinkering around with it. Don't know how to use it. And then on the radio, this back when I used to listen to the radio. So listening to KMEL San Francisco, and this ad comes on the radio station about this music school. And the thing about the music school was it was called Globe Recording Institute. And the thing about the music school was it allowed you to pay monthly payments. So I signed up for the music school. So then I learned how to use Pro Tools in the music school. I got certified in Pro Tools. So now I'm an engineer, learning how to produce, learning, just basic music theory. So that kind of segued, and I met a couple dudes up there from Oakland. So now I'm, back and forth to Oakland, doing the music thing. Right. So that led to me starting my first record label. So one of my photographers was a dude named Pianki. That's the synchronicity with the 25th dynasty. Okay, so my boy Pianki, he's my photographer. He has another friend called Yap, and Yap was doing a movie called Sideways. It was about the sideshows, like I don't know if you know the Oakland sideshows where they be spinning the cars and doing donuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't know what it's called, but yeah, obviously E40 a lot of y'all the Bay Area artists be having in their videos.
Yeah. So this is like I would dare to say this is probably the first movie documentary on the sideshows. And it was distributed by Warner Brothers. So anyway, the dude Yap, he this is Pianki's boy. This is the dude who's doing the movie. He I don't know how we ended up meeting. I think Pianki took me over there one day. So he ended up asking me to write an intro. to write it, right? An intro to the film.
Mhm.
So I wrote the intro to the film, but I ended up recording it with my voice on there. You know what I mean? And I sent it to him. I was like, here, I just recorded it. I wasn't really thinking of nothing of it. Sent
Right.
it to him. He was like, oh, I gotta put this in the movie. I'm gonna put your voice in the movie. So it's actually in there. So anyway, I ended up going over there one day and he was editing film on what looked to me like Pro Tools, but it wasn't Pro Tools. It was Final Cut Pro. And I was like, okay, that looks a lot like Pro Tools. Right. But it was to edit movies. This is what I work on to this very day. So anyway, that kind of like planted the seed, right? So the second part of that is when I started working at Google. I didn't apply there, dude. They just called me one day. I think they came across my resume. I didn't even have a job at the time, bro. I had just found out that I was getting ready to have a son. Not like, I found out that my girlfriend at the time was pregnant. So she was like, oh, you got to get a job. You got to stop doing this music stuff. You got to get a job. So I'm in the studio one day and I get a phone call from a recruiter and they're like, hey, is this Chris, would you like to work at Google? So I'm like, yeah. So I ended up working at Google. Make a long story short, working at Google headquarters in Mountain View. Shortly after that, I was like inspired to go back to school and finish getting my degree because I went to San Jose State when I was like 17 years old. And I ended up dropping out because they didn't have, I wanted to like make video games before I decided to really pursue rap, right? This is the early 2000s too. So I ended up dropping out, but going back to Google, I was like inspired to go back and finish getting my degree. So, boom, I decided to go back to school, but I literally didn't know what I wanted to major in. So I'm literally just going down the course catalog and I see film and I'm like, ooh, if I do film, I could shoot my own music videos. Cause that was like, to me at the time, the only thing that I was missing with my rap career, right? Was the fact that I couldn't shoot, like back then, like music videos would cost you like $3,000. And I didn't have $3,000 to shoot music videos, not consistently. So I figured if I do film, I could shoot my own music videos. So that was the reason why I picked film, bro. And I took an editing class at a community college because I got disqualified. So that the San Jose State told me you got to do 2 semesters at a community college before we consider to let you back in, and you got to get a 3.0 GPA, right? To prove to us that you could still, you know what I mean? You still,
right? You can cut it.
You can still do school. So I ended up taking an editing class, bro, and the teacher gave us this footage, and we were supposed to. It was on an Avid board. I tell this story a million times. It was on one of them old school Avid boards, bro, like a big, like looked like a SSL board. So I didn't know how to use it, bro, and so he gave us the footage on a hard drive. And the assignment was for everybody in class to edit something in class. So everybody's editing. I get my footage. I go to the teacher like, I'm done. And he's like, oh, did you get the footage? I said, no, I'm done. He's like, you couldn't have been possibly done this fast. So he's like, show me what you did. So I walk him over to my little station and everybody's looking. And I had edited the footage that he gave me. It was like a girl and the guy walking along the beach. And I threw like I think I used the Kanye West, like, Cold Winter song from the 808s, the Heartbreaks soundtrack. Anyway, I edited a music video, and he was just like blown away, bro. And he was like, why are you in this class, bro? Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, they told me I had to take these classes, bro. So I'm doing it. So he was like, okay. So anyway, that was the moment that I kind of knew that I had a knack. I know it's a long explanation.
Nah, give it. That's what we're here for.
so that was when I found out that I had a knack. Like I'm pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah.
like I could do anything I put my mind to, but
Yeah, that's a gift,
but
man.
but it was fun. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed the editing part.
Mm,
So yeah, man. So that I ended up getting back into San Jose State. One of the other classes was I had to take a class at the radio station. San
mhm.
Jose State had a radio station. So me and my boy, we kind of teamed up, and all of the artists that would be coming to the Bay Area at that time, we would hit up their management team and be like, yo, we want you to come to the radio station. We'll come and interview you, you know. And so now I'm learning how to work a camera. I literally just went and bought a camera, bro. It was a T2i. It was a Canon T2i. And in my film school, bro, they didn't like teach us how to use the cameras. It was all film theory. So I'm learning how to use this camera. We did one interview because my homeboy and the other girl, they were journalists. So they would do interviews all the time. And I was just, hey, let me tag along with you guys and let me film something.
Right.
And I edited a piece. It was an artist named Blue. And they seen the piece when I got done with it. They was like, this is so artsy. They was like, you need to come with us every time we go interview. So anyway, so all the artists that would come to the Bay Area, they would leverage my talent to go and film them on stage. So this was when like Kendrick Lamar first started popping. This was like Dom Kennedy era, the Cool Kids, just a lot of popping artists, Odd Future. Like if you go and look at my channel, Building 7, you'll see like if you go down to the very first videos I did, Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Nip.
So yeah, so I'm interviewing all of these people. I did Kendrick Lamar's headline show, his first headline show in Oakland. I can't tell you where it was. I keep forgetting the name of the place. Shout out to Gene Mays. So I'm on stage with him. I interviewed him. I did 2 pieces for Kendrick Lamar. So then after that, you know, I'm getting my skill set up. Then that segued into me doing music videos. Now I'm going from interviews to music videos.
Natural progression.
I ended up linking up with my boy Locksmith. I don't know if anybody knows who Locksmith is, but Locksmith is a very prominent, I hesitate to say underground artist, but he started off on underground. He's an MC. Anyways, I ended up doing a whole bunch of videos for Locksmith. One of them landed on MTV. Another one landed on Revolt TV. These are music videos now.
Right.
So after me doing a whole bunch of music videos and dealing with all of these A&Rs from like Interscope and all of that stuff, I kind of got tired of having my creativity restricted.
Right.
I knew that going into the industry that my creativity was going to be restricted. You know what I mean? They're telling me to edit this way, edit this way, and do this and do this. Anyway.
Same way they do artists. They do artists the same way.
Yeah. And it's by non-Black people who's telling you to do it. Of
course. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm getting kind of tired of like the music industry in general. I'm getting tired of rap. I'm getting tired of all this. So then I'm like, let me do a film. Let me do a film on our history, on our people. So that's, you know what I mean? So that's that led to me doing Out of Darkness, make a long story short.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
It's more to it. It's more to it, but that's
but it's dope to hear it though, because it really, it's so crazy how things be aligning. Like, so your story is very similar to mine, man. I went to school for arts as well. You might have heard of the school, being that you're in the art space, but have you ever heard of Full Sail University?
Yeah, of course.
Bruh, so I went there. I enrolled in Full Sail in 2010. And I went for music production, right? So
I was gonna do Full Sail, not to cut you off. I was gonna do Full Sail, but Full Sail they was hitting your pocket, bro. They was in your pocket. I was
Yes,
like, oh, this is
trust
too
me, I
much.
know. I know. Look, and that's why I work with Max to this day, because before I enrolled in Full Sail, I wasn't even a computer guy. I had a Dogon desktop. I think I had like a damn Dell or something. I didn't even want to deal with that, and I hated laptops. I hated all kind of technology for real. But when I enrolled there, because I really wanted to get into music production, it was like everything here is Mac. You got to have a Mac, MacBook Pro, So long story short, I went to school for music production. Right. And then I went 3 years. And then when my first son was born, that's when I had to kind of pause because, work and life and all that took precedence. So, but I never really went back. However, it's kind of crazy, like the way your career started out in music and then you transition and transform into film. And in mine, I wanted to go into music as a producer and, maybe possibly a songwriter, artist, whatever. But then mine transitioned into like podcasting and public speaking and things of that nature. So it's like we both had a flip flop, and how it started versus how it's going. But it's so dope to hear that, man, because even when you were talking about your progression, it brought me back to music theory. Like we had to take music theory as a prerequisite. So you were talking about like a natural chord progression, throughout your journey. To me, it was kind of like a progression of the chords, going through the scale. So it's just dope to see how what I'm seeing now from that clip, which, we started, and then also seeing all three of your films to like, if I don't know if those are the only three you have, but to like where you are now and how that all began is crazy. And I say all that to say, there's a lot of people out here who watch the channel that are aspiring authors or aspiring podcasters or maybe even film directors, etc., that feel like, they might want to go and get a record deal. They might want to get a publishing deal. And my thing is like, nah, don't do that, because when you do that, you're going to do exactly what you said. You're going to lose the opportunity to have your full creativity or your full vision and gift flourish to grow into being what it wants to be, because they're going to try to hold you down and put you in a box to operate from their perspective versus you, like what you did, say, fuck this. I'm going, I'm going to do my thing so I can really let my vision bloom. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where I just shared this analogy the other day, like with someone I'm working with. I'm like, that's the difference between like an artist owning their masters. You know what I'm saying? When you're independent, nobody can tell you what you can do with your creativity or with your gift or, how you create, because you're independent. So you own your masters, essentially kind of like rappers like Nip did. So like, that's dope to hear the backstory of how, what we just saw came about, so I'm definitely glad to share that with the tribe, man, and with the audience for sure.
Exactly. And the Bay Area is like the home of the independent scene, bro. Like,
yeah,
the Bay Area is like,
it's a lot of history.
Get it out the trunk. You know what I mean? It's heavy.
Oh yeah.
Because don't know now in the TikTok age, people know a lot more about the Bay Area, but back then it was like the Bay Area didn't get the recognition that it deserved at the time. Not at the time that the independent scene was so crazy, but I definitely have that independent spirit. Like, I'm gonna get it out the mud, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not signing no contracts. You know what I mean? Everything is out the trunk, and I'm still like that to this day, bro. I mean, my films, I have worldwide distribution. I got distribution deals with my film, but it's still like, you know what I mean?
Yours though, you still control the narrative and the creative, you know what I'm saying, genius of it. That's what's up.
Right now, man, I'm making a transition into being an author. I think that's might be even a bigger calling for me than film. They're gonna go hand in hand. But even now, like I'm about 3 chapters away from finishing my first book in a big IP that I'm developing.
That's dope.
And I'm struggling with, do I go with the pub? Do I go with try to get on the big 5, or do I push it independent? And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to give away my rights, because if you sign up, like if you go with the big 5 publishing company or any publishing company with your book, they own it.
Yep.
They own the rights, and you know what I mean? You got to get all of that stuff like squared away, but 9 times out of 10, they own the rights in perpetuity forever. And it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I know firsthand, bro, from both sides. Like literally, I won't speak on it on air because it was a private agreement I had. But I've been blessed to consult authors who got books that got worldwide acclaim. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact, because they were in that deal, it limited like the flexibility and the things that they can do. Even creating a sales funnel, they couldn't create a sales funnel for the book because they were, controlled or restricted by the publishing company. So I'll never sign a publishing deal, like, because I'm not going to allow them to have that kind of power over my creativity. I don't even like putting my books on Amazon because they take too much of the cut. But as far as like the publishing deals, it really does. It constricts you, and it's almost like just creating a masterpiece and just handing it to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, and they putting it under the Christmas tree for everybody to unwrap, but yet you the one who birthed it. So Santa Claus is getting the damn credit for it, but you know, as a parent, you're the one who really, you know, did all the work. So I personally am like, nah, I wouldn't do it. You know, it's kind of like giving up the masters to me, because you limit, you know, the opportunity. Yeah, they give you all the pros and the you know, the publishing and this flying around and the book tours and all that stuff. But when you keep it as an independent, to me, I feel like you're being a replica as an author, as Nip with the marathon. You know what I'm saying? The marathon is going to be strictly, you know, all me. You know what I mean? Like how Nip did with, you know, his whole entire career. So it's like, I personally, I'm all independent, man, because that way you keep your masters, you keep your freedom, you keep, you know, the ability to do everything how you want to do it versus being limited, you know, how the publishing companies or how you do it. Yes, sir. That's what's up. Well, let's get into this documentary series, man, because you got some dope heavy hitters on that thing, man. Even from like the first one, you know, you had, I believe, Professor Kaba, you had Dr. Umar, you had the elder, what's the elder's name? The brother that does like finance theory. Damn it, what is his name?
Dr. Claude Anderson.
Dr. Claude Anderson. You had a heavy Hall of Fame, heavy hitting all-star cast in just the first one. So when it comes to, you know, the transition, you told us a story of how you got into film. How did you manage to build the Rolodex of the elders and the master teachers the way you did in order to put, you know, this all-star cast together for your films? How did that come about?
Hustling.
I had to ask, because I'm like, yo, bro, he got the dream team. Like in basketball, you got like the dream team and all three.
I did, bro. I did. So I'll tell you how I did it. I literally wrote a list down. So it's okay. It's funny that you mentioned Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson. Okay, so the original concept from the film was this is going to be about slavery and how slavery affected us, right? And then in outlining the film, I was like, okay, I gotta have at least like an intro part that talks about where we were before slavery. So, so I got on YouTube and I'm like searching this stuff. And I just went down the rabbit hole of all rabbit holes. And I was like, oh, the film, like the slavery is the small part. The where we were before slavery is the 99% of it. So anyway,
that's the plug.
As I'm going down this rabbit hole, it started with Dr. Claude Anderson, but I got introduced to Dr. Clark. I got introduced, and this is just me. Again, I'm working at Google, bro. I'm in school. No, I wasn't in school. I had graduated at this point, but I'm in Google. You know, I got all these different offices because I was in charge of like 20 something buildings at Google. I'm in, and the way I did my work, bro, like I was very efficient. So I had a lot of downtime. I would like, you know, stack all my stuff and just knock it out in the beginning of the day. So I had a lot of downtime. So I'd be in, bro, I'm at YouTube, bro. I'm like the inventory tech for YouTube in San Bruno, bro. Like I'm at Google headquarters and crazy. YouTube and SFO. But anyway, I'm literally at YouTube there. And I'm in the office and I'm watching all of these videos. So then, you know what I mean? Like I said, I go down this rabbit hole. I get introduced to all of these people. Then I literally like wrote a list down of like my dream team of everybody that if I did do this film, everybody that I would want. So bro, it was just like me. Cause you know, the Bay Area is a major hub. So they would just different people would come at different times. So I would literally just, okay, let me look at when Dr. Claude Anderson is going to be here. Oh, he's going to be here in June. So look at his website, look where he's going to be at. Literally just go there with my camera, bro, and be like, you know, listen to the lecture. Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm a young filmmaker. Da 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 da. Just give me 15 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. And let me interview you. Of course, it was never 15 minutes.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
always
yeah,
like an
yeah.
hour. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Once I started asking them the questions, they was like, okay, this brother, these ain't no regular questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me get this brother some time.
Yeah.
So it started with Tony Browder in Atlantis. I did those were my first 2 interviews that ended up staying in the film. Then it was Dr. Joy DeGruy. Then it was Dr. Claude Anderson. Then I ran up on Tim Wise randomly, and Tim Wise gave me like 20 minutes, but when you watching the film, it doesn't seem like 20 minutes, right?
Right.
It seems like a lot longer than that. So then I'm getting, and then I hooked up with Sabir Bey. I saw a random interview that he did. I was like, who's this brother? This brother from the hood. You know what I mean? So hit up Sabir Bey, go and interview him. Sabir Bey introduced me to Professor James Small. And then he introduced me to Taj Tariq Bey. So that's how I got them 2. Kaba, I had been in communication with. And then I didn't really have the money to really do him justice up until I think I got like my tax returns that year, and I got like a $1,500 check, right?
Money well spent.
And I'm like, Kaba, I'm gonna fly you out to Oakland.
Yes,
we go
sir.
kick it for a few days, and we drove all the way to the Bay Area, bro. We filmed in the Oakland Museum, bro. I had finagled something where the Oakland Museum, because that's where they had the Huey P. Newton chair that I filmed them in.
That's dope.
And they had shut the museum down just for us that day, bro. They had like a special staff there. They didn't charge me nothing.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Yeah, filmed him in the Oakland Museum. We went to San Francisco, did the whole thing. So that's how Kaba ended up being the narrator, because I wanted him to play a special. You know, Kaba was like a big part of my awakening, like seeing his videos. He had this one video on the it was called The Science of the Moors on YouTube, bro, that just blew me away.
Yeah.
So after seeing that, I was like, I gotta get Kaba to narrate it, and the rest is history, man.
That's dope. Man, that is so dope. The crazy part about it, bro, I'm telling you, like, this is a master's class on following you know, your goals or your dreams, because everything you just said, excuse me, is literally how I was blessed to develop a rapport and a relationship with Professor Smalls and Professor Kaba, man, because Professor Kaba, I think I had seen him maybe 2-3 times before I actually met him, and before I was like actually formally introduced to him. And the crazy part about it, we just talked about this last week when he was on here. I had an event. He had an event down in Miami, and I was writing a children's book called Star Seeds. And it's crazy because he had a YouTube video out about the Dogon tribe that he filmed in London. And that did the same thing for me that the one about the Science of the Moors did for you. So it intrigued me and it touched me so deeply. I'm like, yo, this is dope. And I already was a nerd. I had started, you know, learning and studying metaphysics from like 94 when I was like a freshman in high school. So I was already knee deep into the culture and the history and all that, but I had no access and no relationships to anybody, especially them. Excuse me. But anyway, long story short, I saw a promo for him coming to Miami. And I DM'd the brother who was hosting it, and I was like, yo, how can I get tickets to the event? So he told me, so I got the tickets, and I had just started public speaking like not too long before that. So I was having events, and kind of like you were saying about the dude that sold you the machine, the equipment or whatever.
Yeah.
I got tired of paying videographers to come and film my events. I'm like, man, the hell with this. I'm gonna buy my own camera and I'm gonna shoot my own events, because that way I can save my money and I can keep my footage. I ain't gotta wait, none of that. Long story short, when I went to that event in Miami, I asked the brother, like, yo, can I capture some footage of Professor Kaba? That's like my favorite teacher, you know, He's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, yeah, that's cool, So the dude who was supposed to film the event ended up standing him up. He never showed up. He's like, hey, brother, he's like, man, would you mind filming the whole, you know, event for me and then let me get a copy of the SD card or whatever after it's all? I'm like, yeah, for sure. He's like, if you do that, I'll personally introduce you to Professor Kaba, you know, and maybe you can get your interview with him about your book. And that's exactly how it happened, bro. So we did the event. I filmed it. We went back to his hotel room, and I got my first interview with him in his hotel room in Miami after the event, bro. It was crazy. And then the same brother kind of introduced me to Professor Smalls the same way. You know, I went down to Miami and saw Smalls, and he personally introduced me to Smalls too, and that's how I was able to develop that rapport with both of them, man. So it's dope, like just to hear how similar your story is to how you know got in touch with some of them the same way I did, kind of, man. It's really
They the
dope.
coolest, man. Kaba's so cool. Professor Small, like Professor Small, Kaba, and Tony Browder specifically.
I haven't met him yet. I got he on my list too.
Yeah, those three had a real hands-on, like those are like my Jedi masters.
3 wise men.
Yeah, they really had a real hands-on in my learning process.
That's dope.
You know, Professor Small called me all the time, just randomly. Hey, son, how you doing?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just checking on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was very blessed and fortunate to be able to link up with them and have the relationship that I ended up having with them.
Yeah. It's still surreal to me, honestly. Like, even look at the phone, whenever the phone ring or just the text message and all, because every single time and I'm sure it's the same with you, but literally every single time I've ever talked to them, I learned something new, or I heard something I've never heard before. Every single time, and it really be multiple things too. You know what I'm saying? But it's dope.
It ain't no short conversations with them.
No, no, sir. Nope.
It's a lecture. It's a lecture.
And the funny part about it. And it's mostly them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just sitting there listening.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's dope, man. But nah, you definitely got a dynasty. And it's funny because, you know, the first time I ever saw anything like yours was Hidden Colors. When Hidden Colors 1 came out. That was the first time I ever seen anything like that. But then when I saw yours, I was like, it was dope because you have your own vision and you have your own creativity, you know, that you add into the knowledge and the wisdom. Like, you really do put like a really dope, deep, artistic, you know what I'm saying, like I feel like infusion into the film, and that's where you kind of separate yourself to me and when it comes to the film aspects. And even you and I spoke about this, I think on the first or second time we ever spoke, even with all this AI and this technology. Like, I remember seeing your work when Out of the Darkness first came out, the very first one, which was what year was that? 2018, 2019? The first
2016.
2016. Okay. You was way back, you was doing that way back then. And so now when I'm looking at 10 years later with AI, where everybody has access to tools that can kind of create similar art, your shit is still like, it's on another level, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, you still like way ahead of the game, you know, when it comes to like the graphic design and just the whole, how all your art comes together and how it flows. So how did you realize you had a gift like that when it comes to the graphic design and then like tying that into the storytelling and the flow of a film with the dope graphics? How did that all come about?
Well, the foundation was me doing music videos. Right.
Sure.
Me doing music videos and learning how to edit and make cuts in a way that's like constantly engaging, you know, especially to younger people. Because, you know, when you watch like a lot of documentaries, especially like the old documentaries, bro, it's like slow and you know, it's lightweight, kind of depressing, you know what I mean? And the shots are like super long, and you know what I mean? And if kids ain't got time for that, bro. Like, you gotta constantly be hitting them with the images.
Yeah.
So so me learning how to edit music videos, and bro, Locksmith in particular, bro, like Locksmith had me go through drafts, bro. Like, you know, I would spend like 2 weeks working on the music video and send it to him. He'd be like, nah, bruh. And I'd be like, yo, this is the dopest. He'd be like, nah, this ain't it. You gotta go.
Right.
You gotta take this section and put it in the beginning, and it has to have a story. And it's
right.
Oh, it's not just a whole bunch of shots strung together. You know what I mean? It's like, it has to tell a story. So that's where I kind of learned. But as far as like the special effects and all of that stuff, bro, I didn't know how to do none of that stuff, honestly. I learned it all from YouTube University. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I just started learning piece by literally just watching tutorials, bro, and just how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? Okay, I want to do this. I had the vision in my head, but I don't really know how to execute it.
Right.
Okay, how do you do this? Okay, this needs After Effects. So let me download After Effects and let me do this. And you know what I mean? It was just me learning all of this stuff and watching these tutorials, and I just got my skill set up, bro. And people, you know what I mean? I just I had the vision.
Yeah.
I didn't in the beginning. I was always technically inclined, but I didn't know how to use any of this stuff. And I just learned how to use it on the fly. And it just kept getting more advanced and more advanced and more advanced. And you know, I'm the kind of person where I learn very quickly.
Gotcha.
I learned very quickly. So after, you know, after a short time period, I just learned how to put my own little twist on it. You know what I mean? And make it cinematic looking, you know what I mean? Learning how to layer stuff. But so that was Out of Darkness, right? But Heavy as a Crown was a totally different beast, bro. Like if you watch that, my guy.
Yeah.
Like
it looked like you made like almost like it's almost look like real life, but like I won't say cartoon, but like damn, how can I describe it? It's almost like AI and reality merged in, you know what I'm saying? Like merged in together. Like they had a baby together. That's how it looked to me. I don't know how the hell you did it, but that's like it's dope.
Believe it or not, I drew everything by hand, like the Medu Neter scenes and the judgment scenes and all of that stuff.
Wow.
Bro, I drew it, scanned it, brought it into Photoshop, colored it, split all of the arms and legs into different layers, the joints, moved it. You know what I mean? Drew the Medu Neter. I don't know how to read Medu Neter, but I did. Look up the Medu Neter, put it in there, word for word, symbol by symbol, line it up, bro. The scene what they're doing, the fire swords, you know what I mean? The battle between Heru and Set, bro. Hire some people from what they call it, Craigslist. Put an ad on Craigslist. I'm looking for some actors. Find the actors.
Wow.
Go to the yarn fabric store. Go get a couple yards of this fabric, a couple yards for this fabric. Costume them myself. Learning how to do the wrap thing. Okay, go get you some little play swords. We're gonna go out to Valley of Fire. Just swing the swords around, you guys. Just swing the swords around. Just make a fight scene. They're like, what is the it wasn't choreographed, bro. I'm just like, do this. Okay, then about 15 minutes in, they start getting the hang of it. Then they start doing stuff. Then, you know what I'm saying? I hired the drone guy. Okay, let's do this again. You guys available next weekend? Boom, let's go out here. Get the drone guy to go to the drone repair shop. You guys know how to fly a drone? You guys are certified? Because at Valley of Fire, where we shot it at, I had to talk to the ranger first, and I had to get a special permit to go and shoot there.
Wow.
We went to it's called the Fire Wave. Dude, this place is like millions of years old, so you have to have a special permit.
Wow.
So I get the permit, and he was like, well, in order to fly a drone, you got to have a certified drone pilot. So I go get this certified drone pilot. Okay, just bro, everything was just off the hip. Just okay, fly it over there. Get the footage. Learn how to do, bro. I had to rotoscope that frame by frame with the swords, bro. That wasn't real swords. I had to put the effects on there frame by frame, mask it around. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but frames, bro, it's 24.
I do.
It's 24 frames in a second. It's 24 frames in 1 second, bro.
Yeah.
I had to do one frame, then adjust the mask, then do the next frame, then adjust the mask, then for 2 characters.
You talk about labor of love,
bro. It took me forever to do that, bro. but I learned how to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a special effects guy, bro. I didn't even know I was gonna be a film director, but I'm
That's
just
crazy.
I like literally just learning all this stuff. So that's
Mm.
just, bro. I just to answer your question, bro. It's just a determination. It's just having a vision and be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, how do we do this step by step? You know what I mean? How do you do this? And it's just this, and it just came out really dope. You know what I mean?
That is so dope, man. And it's crazy because you just got it out of the mud. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part where I feel like I love that you sharing how not only how hard it was, but the lack of any professional training, any professional coaching, any of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just literally just said, damn it, I gotta get this done. It's in my mind, I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna work my ass off to get it done by any and all means necessary until it's done. You know what I'm saying? And to me, so many people see success and they think that somebody just woke up one day and they just was able to do all these things. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me how people think that. You know, I even see people, podcasters who, you know, they be throwing shade and hating and shit, talking about what they do and what they didn't do and this and that. And I laugh because I'm like, when I come out here, you're looking at 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years and I started doing it in real life. Like I had to adjust to do it virtually because this ain't my thing. I don't even like doing it virtually for real. I prefer to be in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So
even doing what you're doing now, it's like 10 times as much work than people think it is, bro. Just doing this because I do live streams and it's just live streams stress me out more than doing films because it's all of these moving parts at the you know what I mean? It's all of these technical issues that could go wrong and you thinking about all this stuff. Then you still got to be the host. Then you still got to you got to entertain people. You got to have your questions lined up. You know what I mean? It's just it's difficult. It's not glamorous.
No,
it's not glamorous at all, bro. I spent many nights when all my homeboys is out partying and doing all of this stuff. I'm like, hey, no, I'm in the house, bro.
In the lab,
I'm in the house. I got work to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, nah, it's dope though. But you see it though. Like I see it, and for me, I'm a fan of greatness. You know, so I'm a fan of greatness. I'm a fan of genius, and I'm a fan of art. So anytime I see any type of genius, that's why I love Mike Tyson. That's why I love Michael Jordan. That's why I love Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Because they are at the creme de la creme of art and genius and, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Malcolm X. Like, that's why, like, when I see it, I know it when I see it. You know what I'm saying? And, like, when I saw yo, I'm like, yo, bro, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because the film and the story and the education, the knowledge and all that was powerful. It was profound. And that I'm a nerd. So I take pride in, you know, taking notes and studying and reading all that. But like I said, your separation factor was how you were able to merge and blend the art and the creativity and the graphics and, you know what I'm saying, the skills into weaving that into, you know what I'm saying, all this powerful wisdom and knowledge. And I'm like, yeah, that's, I don't know who this dude is, but yo, you know what I'm saying? He's dope. And I remember I first got exposed to you by Professor Kaba. I believe it was on his Facebook channel years ago, you know, when the first Out of Darkness came out. As soon as I saw that first trailer, yep, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? I got the DVD somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, that goes back to just loving to learn. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so to see somebody who got skills in a different arena to bring that into, you know, an arena that I'm comfortable in, which is the learning, being a nerd, like, I'm like, yeah, that's dope, man. And I couldn't wait to have a conversation to hear how all this came about. Because even like Mike Tyson, for example, I remember even as a little boy watching him fight, my mind, I love seeing him fight. I love seeing him knock people out. I love the speed. I love the power, the veracity, all that. But in my mind, even after seeing all that, I would always think like, damn, if he's that powerful and that much of a force, I wonder who his teacher is. Because you ain't just get, even with all them skills, you still have to be able to have that molded. It has to be directed. It has to be cultivated. It has to be nurtured. Like all that has to still be poured in. So I used to always think like, yo, who is his teacher? And then I was a grown man before I realized who Customato was. But then when I started studying and learning about Customato, it all made sense. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like, okay, now I see how Mike got to be, you know, who and what he is. And listening to your story, I see the same thing. It all makes sense because the work ethic, you know what I'm saying? The passion, the desire, you know, to create was there. So that's dope.
And then the music, bro.
That too.
And then I'm doing all of the music. You know what I mean? Not all, well, Out of Darkness. Yeah. I Out of Darkness, Heavy as the Crown. Out of Darkness, I pretty much did most of the music and I hired some musicians to do the live stuff. For Heavy as a Crown Volume 1 and 2. I did most of everything by myself, but I had my boy Gifted C. Johnson, who's an incredible musician. He's one of my business partners now. We're doing a Detroit film together with my
I was gonna
team.
ask about that. I didn't know if I was able to ask about it.
Oh yeah. We can get into that.
I was gonna ask, but I didn't know for sure because we didn't talk about if you want to share it or not. But that's what's up.
Yeah, man, I'm doing I've been working on this Detroit documentary since we started doing Matter of fact, the very first screening I did, or one of the very first screenings I did for Out of Darkness, I was living in Georgia at the time. And Sabir Bey had set up this screening at Nandi's Knowledge Cafe in Detroit. I had never been to Detroit before, bro. So like literally like the day before, Sabir couldn't make it. Right. So I called Mama Nandi up and I'm like, Mama Nandi, Sabir can't make it. We're gonna have to reschedule the screening. She's like, well, why don't you just come down? You can just come down and do it. And I said, Mama Nandi, I'm in Georgia. She's like, well, how far is that? And I looked it up on my phone. I said, it's a 12-hour drive. She was like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Yo,
listen,
I got my.
That's not like the ancestors with me starting this show. I'm like, look, I ain't ready yet. It's like, look at the damn, you ain't ready. You gonna start that show?
She literally told me, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. She was like, it take 12 hours. So she's like, if you leave this time, you'll be here such and such time.
That's right.
Bruh, I said,
yes, sir.
I told my son, he was like 9 at the time. I said, son, we you want to go to Detroit? We go to Detroit. We drove up there, 12-hour drive. Bro.
That's dope.
We got off the freeway and he's looking around. We both like looking around and this is in Highland Park in Detroit.
See, I never been to the D. I gotta get there though.
Bro. I love Detroit. Let me just say that.
That's what's up.
My son was looking around and he's like, Dad,
this looks
like a gangster scene. Bro, like the buildings, the buildings is like, it looked like a bomb hit it, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like blocks and blocks and blocks. So we parked the car next to Nandi's spot. She had her house is like right around the corner from the cafe. And I'll never forget, we parked the car. My son looked down the street. We turn around the corner. I'm like heading into the cafe. I look back. He's at the corner. He's like, Dad, he's like, you gonna leave your car here? Like, you gonna leave but as soon as we get into 90s, it's like a totally different world. He never wanted to come out of there, bro. He was just like
crazy.
It was just so African. So anyway, that's where I met my business partner, Toby Tansel. And he was blown away by Out of Darkness. He was there. He was blown away by Out of Darkness. And then like the next week, Nandi calls me. She was like, Toby, there's another young man, Toby, who was there, and he wants to talk to you. So I'm gonna give him your number. So me and Toby end up talking. That he's the one who pitched me the Detroit documentary idea. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So literally, I've been going back and forth to Detroit like 2 or 3 times a year since then. Filming, bro, and like half the people that's in the film have already like passed away, bro. It's kind of crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I'm literally actively working on that right now. I just been having so much stuff on my plate, but we're working on the funding, and that'll be probably part 1. It's like a 4-part documentary. It's centered around Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, which is the black owned business district. Well, they had the Black Bottom was the residential area, and then Paradise Valley was the business district. And it was real popping like in between the 1920s and the 1950s. And you know how they do us, bro. They eminent domain, run freeways through the Black communities, all of that stuff. So they basically took it apart piece by piece. So that's what the main gist of the documentary is, but it tells the whole history of Detroit, bro. It's crazy documentary.
Wow.
So that's what I got on my plate now, in addition to this book I'm writing.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. And not to mention the screenings, man, because if I'm not, shout out to Miss Mariana Segment Maat. She was in this thing last night, man. Shout out to her.
She sent me a text. I was like, that's the brother? She was like,
yeah. Listen, she said you about to be out in her way, in her neck of the wood in a couple of weeks, right? For a screening of Out of the Darkness, if I'm not mistaken.
On the 26th.
That's what's up. Yeah, man.
Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacktown. I got to get out there. I'm looking to get out there, hopefully in the summertime, man. I'm trying to put something together to do an Ashe, little exclusive Ashe event out there.
Okay.
And look, and and I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. You know, we be trying to get you down here in Florida, man, so we could do something down here in these Florida streets too, man. You know what I mean? So
I only been to Orlando for a quick in and out. I left from Orlando to a cruise. We did a Caribbean cruise, man. But the vibe was like, ooh, this remind me of California.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm in the Bay. I'm in the East Coast Bay, man. You in the West Coast Bay? I'm in the East Coast Bay. So look, we gotta do the Bay. We maybe do something with the two bays together. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be dope.
East Coast Bay to West Coast Bay.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope.
That's what's up. Well, let me get I got a couple questions in here. Let me get a couple questions. I know our time is running, but this was a dope question I started because I wanted to wait until we had a break. But shout out to Nabet Het 222 said, Amadeus, do you have support of your family during your spiritual journey, or did you rely more on the ancestors guiding you to your success? It's a powerful question. I appreciate that, family.
That's a good question. My family, I come from a, pardon the term, but I come from a hardcore Christian family. You know what I mean? My dad is actually an ordained deacon.
Mine is too.
Okay, that's what's up. His father was a reverend, so it's kind of like in my blood, you know. But my family has been supportive of me. I don't want to say they were not supportive, but they're not into any of the comedic stuff at all. You know what I mean? This is Jesus all day, every day. I thought my dad would have like an issue with some of the stuff in the films, but he loves it. He's like, oh, this is dope. And da, 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 da. My dad loves it. So my family's been very supportive of my work. They love it more so just because it's me and you know what I mean? I'm doing my thing and you know what I mean? They just love seeing me do it. But yeah, they're not really into like the comedic history and all of that stuff. It's not like they didn't see the film and were just like, oh, we gotta go study all of this. Now. It's not like that.
We're gonna book a trip to Kemet. We're gonna go down to Nile.
I'm trying to get my dad to go to Egypt.
That's what's up.
So he might end up going. You know, I think like going to Egypt for every so-called Black person, African American person, it's almost like a pilgrimage.
Yeah,
it's almost like a holy pilgrimage if you get to go.
Oh yeah,
the political climate isn't so hot right now for us. There's a strong pushback against so-called African American, so-called Black people claiming ancient Egypt. So if you go out there with any foolishness, you're gonna get hemmed up. But it's a good experience for anybody if you can go. You know, most of us, we want to go to Israel and we want to go to the, you know what I mean? We want to go see stuff in Israel, but you know, that's not where our history is. You know, our history is in Kemet. If you really want to see like the temples and all of that stuff, it's still there. You know what I mean? Like they got the little, what's the little thing in Greece? A little temple. They got the little temple in Greece. I forgot what it's called, but that's like the only thing that's still standing. And you're like, oh, that's the temple. No, bro, go to Egypt, bro. They got like over a dozen temples.
It's funny to me though, because Kemet is our history, and it baffles me how you have these pillagers and these people who come in, and steal, the land and steal, like the history, and try to present it as if it's theirs, but ain't nowhere in hell you're gonna be able to, really prove that that's you. Those people on those walls look nothing like you. You know what I'm saying? Even the ones that y'all tried to paint over and make them lighter and, whitewash.
Oh,
no, when you look at the core of who all's in there, they look like us. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's no doubt about that. The hair, the coils, you know what I'm saying? On the, like, there's no way that you can rewrite history. Like, they try to, but you can't. It's a stolen legacy. Shout out to George G.M. James. Like, there's no way. But it's crazy.
All over the walls, bro. Even like when you're driving around, like even in the city streets and all of that stuff, they got the murals, and bro, they paint the people blacker than my shirt, bro. And it's like,
but that's what our ancestors really look like, though. That's the thing that it baffles me.
I don't.
Because Professor Kaba told me he had a situation with the dude, I forgot his name, that crumb bum dude, I forgot his name, that started all that crap the last time he was over there or whatever. But it's crazy how they try to, like I said, make it as if it's there, but they're really just doing some Milli Vanilli, you know what I'm saying, like impersonating, lip singing, with our story.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But if you got a chance to go, especially on like a official study tour, like I wouldn't recommend going by yourself.
Yeah.
Because when I got to go, I did the study tour with Tony Browder, and they had like armed guards around us all the time. They had, military, riding around with AKs in the back of the truck everywhere we go. So I felt safe. I actually felt, when I was there, I actually felt safer there than I do back home. You know what I mean? But I have heard some stories of people going solo dolo and having some problems. So
it's a different animal, man. I experienced that when I went to Nigeria a couple years, and I feel like it's good for all of us to go back to the continent, no matter what, because I didn't come back the same. Like when I went over there, I went to Nigeria and Ghana in the same trip, and it was amazing to me. But the same thing, I was blessed to go with some elders that had, distinguished and established relationships, to where literally from the time I got picked up at the airport, we had armed guards too. And we literally, everywhere we went, we had armed guards. Like, it was so funny. We was in the food court in the mall in Osogbo, and I went from one store to the other, and it was hilarious to me because I went to buy some glasses, as a matter of fact. And I guess the guard didn't know, so he ran over to the store like, "What are you doing? You can't go nowhere by yourself."
Yeah.
It wasn't funny, but it was funny because I'm like, damn, but it really is that real. Like, for real, it really is that real. How things are over there. So it's definitely different, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely different.
Absolutely.
That's what's up, man. So what do you have outside of the Detroit documentary? What else do you have, in the book? What else do you have? Anything else like bubbling in the pot, or are those the main, couple of things that you have that we can expect coming in the near future?
I got the pot bubbling in the pot.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Bro, put it like this, bro. Out of darkness and heavy as a crown, and all of the stuff that I've done up until this point is just like been practice. It's been like a drop in the bucket. It's been like the preseason, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To compare to what I'm working on right now.
That's what's up.
I'm working on. I can't give away the name of it. Hopefully, once I plan to have the first book done, probably by the summertime. I started writing it in September, and I'm about like 3 chapters away from finishing it. But it started off as a planned 16 book series, but I think I'm gonna narrow it down to maybe like 10. Because if I could do easily a book a year, but 10 years is a lot to have somebody in one continuous story. So I might narrow it down. But anyway, it started off as a video game, bro.
Wow.
I'm a full-fledged nerd, bro. Grew up on when I wasn't messing around in the street. I
Sound like
was
two of us.
I was a big Zelda, Final Fantasy, you know what I mean? Later on, when I got older, Skyrim, you know what I mean? I'm one of them type of dude. I don't play video games now because I literally just don't have the time. I'll watch my son play it, but I think Skyrim was like the last game that I played back in like 2014. But I'm a big like fantasy RPG guy. So yeah, so I started developing. I had a idea for this game, and literally just woke up like 2:00 randomly one morning, had the idea, just started writing in a composition book. That composition book turned into 10 different composition books. So I've been developing this IP. So as I'm developing the game, the story just took me, and I was like, oh, this is something bigger. You know what I mean? So I decided to turn it into a novel series. So basically, the way I'm looking at it, it'll be like probably like 8 Netflix seasons with about 8 episodes each. Between, I would say, either on the minimum 8 books, on the maximum probably like 12. So like 12 novels. And then like a 4-part video game series.
Yeah, that sounds like a damn dynasty, man. Like you about to drop a dynasty on this.
It's a huge IP, and let me. I want to give more, but I can't. Let's just say like this. It's heavily inspired. Obviously, ancient Kemet, but it's heavily inspired from the Dogon cosmology. And shout out to Dr. Finch. You know, he just transitioned recently. Dr. Finch was the one who put me onto the Dogon. He put me onto the pale fox. I don't know if you know the pale fox, bro. It's like that thick.
I got it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I got that one.
Yeah, and conversations with Olga Tameli. But I read the Pale Fox like 5 times, bro. Like I just couldn't put the book down. Because every time you could read it multiple times. Like the first time I read it, it's just the story. Then the second time I read it from like a viewpoint of like biology. Then the third time I read it from the viewpoint of the creation of matter. Right. And every time I read it, I'm reading it from a different perspective. But anyway, that the Pale Fox and the whole Dogon cosmology, bro, I'm like super heavy into the Dogon, even probably more so than Kemet right now.
Wow.
So that's what I'm working on, bro. That's a huge IP that's probably going to take me about, I'd say maybe like 10, 12 years to do the first part, the first story. And then I got all of these different sub stories that I got. So it's a whole like cinematic universe.
It's like its own franchise. It's like literally.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So that probably is going to take me, you know, like after that's done, I could just go off in the mountain and not do anything anymore.
Listen, look, and maybe get a visitation, because listen, what's dope about that, bro, like I promise you, that's literally what my children's book was about, Star Seeds. And like I said, it came back to Professor Kaba's lecture in London where he was talking about the Dogon. Matter of fact, I think the video is called Black People Come from Sirius. And when I tell you, it like sparked something within me so much so, bro, I had to write a book about it. You know what I mean? And it's about children who use their minds as superpowers, you know what I mean? To like pretty much like save the world. But they are visited or they're guided by their ancestors who are from the star Sirius, and you know, the Dogon, not to tell the whole book, but the Dogon tribe. So it's like they have a very powerful, very, very, very powerful, I feel like, magnetic story, you know, in regards to, you know, the history behind the Dogon. Even so much with being able to see Sirius, you know, prior to the invention of the telescope, and you know, being able to document and chart the stars, and you know, the visitations from Oannes and Amma. Like it's a very powerful story, man. Very powerful story,
man.
That's what's up. That's dope. Shoot. Tribe, y'all got any more questions? Let me know, because we're gonna wrap it up soon. But I definitely appreciate everybody who did, share the questions and who came through and showed love and support. I got a notification from one of the tribe members saying that the notifications didn't go out today. That's not surprising to me. That's crazy how some of these things be happening with these platforms, but you know how that goes. You know what that's about. But it is what it is. Yep. But anyway, they can't stop us from doing what we do. But do you have anything that you would like to share with the tribe too before we get out of here in regards to just like, I guess like maybe even like inspiration, man? Because just like listening to this, it really inspires me for some of the work that I have coming up in the future with content creating, like teaching people how to create content, especially primarily YouTube. So I'm working on a YouTube university, for lack of better words. And it's like I've been quiet about it. I shared a little tidbits here and there, but just hearing your story and then even this interview, I'm going to share as part of, I feel like, the curriculum, because it really highlights that you don't have to have a long history, or you don't have to have access to training or to coaches or any of that. All you really need is a strong desire and a work ethic, and you can make it happen. That's what it sounds like. Hearing your story, that's literally what it sounds like you did. You just had the work ethic, the vision, and you know what I'm saying, and you just got to it. You got busy with it.
That's all it is, bro. To be honest with you, I've done most of everything on my own. Of course, I have a team, but my team is they do other things other than production. On the production side of things, other than my boy Gifted C. Johnson, who does music, on the film production side of things is pretty much just me, which has been a major blessing. But it also has its detriment. You know what I mean? Like, you do need a team of people, bro, to do. You know what I mean? Like there was so many. If I had to do it all again, I would probably assemble a team of people to do different things. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to do everything on my own. I learned how to do all of the different things by doing everything on my own. But now I'm to a point where in this next phase, especially with what I just told you, what I'm developing, I'm gonna need like hundreds of people.
Yeah, you gotta delegate
to pull this off, bro. I can't. Like I'm at the end of the phase where I'm doing everything on my own, right? But it's a very important phase. It's a very important phase. The reason why I had to do everything on my own, because I just literally didn't have the money to hire all of the different people that I needed to hire, right? Because like I said, I'm just doing independent. I'm learning everything. I probably could have made better marketing decisions as far as like getting the film out there, but you know what I mean? It's too difficult to wear all of these hats.
Yes.
But it's just part of my story, bro. So I was gonna say that nothing's impossible. You know what I mean? Nothing's impossible. If you have a vision executed by any means, you know what I mean? There's nothing that you can't learn how to do if you just invest the time into it. Like literally anything that you want to learn is going to be, you could even find stuff on TikTok, but I'm just saying you could just jump on YouTube, literally type in anything. How to take apart a car engine. You can find a video of that on YouTube. How to build a house. You can find a video on that on YouTube. You know what I mean? How to do this, how to do that. You know what I mean? So there's nothing that you could possibly want to do that you can't literally pull up a video on YouTube and learn and just watch it for 2 hours and learn how to do it, just step by step. So what my philosophy is, some of the things that I want to do are very ambitious, right? And to a normal person, it'll look like a huge step. Like, how did you do that? Well, you just you don't do you don't do the 20-foot step. You break it down into 21-foot steps. You know what I mean? Just break it down step by step by step by step. Right. And then execute that and execute that and execute that and execute that. You know what I mean? They call it like a snowball effect. So that's how I do everything. You know what I mean? I never look at anything like it's impossible for me to do. I just look at if it looks if it looks very ambitious and it feels very ambitious, that's something that you probably want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the harder it is, the more rewarding it is. But you just break it down into smaller steps and execute that, and then you start building your confidence up, and then you just, before you know it, you're at the top of the mountain and you're looking down and you're like, oh, how did I get this high? You know what I mean? But you just keep on climbing. So that's what I would say, man. Another thing I would say is sometimes I get discouraged as far as like seeing, not, I don't want to say this in a way where it makes me sound jealous, but like there are there are a lot of other people who make films, and they make like the hood movies that you see on Tubi. And, you know what I mean? Them hood movies they be cracking, bro. They be, you know what I mean? Like I've seen the payouts. You know, some of those movies make like $250,000 a quarter, bro. But it's all hood stuff. It's all hood, ghetto, ratchet, drug dealing. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like I know all of that stuff. But I have integrity. My integrity won't let me do that, bro. Even though I could be making way more money by doing that stuff. But it's like you got to have integrity. You got to be guided by the ancestors and trust the ancestors to do positive, constructive work, bro. So there's no shortcuts. You know what I mean? There's no like, I could just do this hood movie and just do this and just get the bag and then do this and then no, bro. You gotta walk the straight and narrow path, bro. You know, like I'm a big Star Wars fan too. You know what I mean? And I stay on the Jedi side. I don't go to the dark. I got dark side tendencies.
We all do. We all do.
You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of dark side. Like I said in the beginning, when I first told you, I was like, bro, I'm such the most unlikely candidate. Because if you knew me before I started doing all of this conscious stuff, you'd be like, bro, like, what are you doing?
You know, a while back I would have thought that, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, like even myself, now I don't, because every teacher or guide or mentor, coach, whatever you want to call it, that I've been blessed to like learn or study under, or even just have a couple conversations with, they all had a past where they was nowhere near what they are now. You know what I'm saying? Let's just use Malcolm, my number one. You know, he was Detroit Red with long, you know what I'm saying, before he actually transformed and morphed into what we now know as the Honorable Malcolm, you know what I'm saying, or El Haj Malik El Shabazz, you know, but he was Detroit Red, you know what I'm saying, and I feel like we all, you know what I'm saying, because I know I listen.
I was him. Hey, I was him. Malcolm X that's my favorite movie, bro. I super relate to that.
Yes, sir.
To that movie, bro.
Me too.
Super relate. So yeah, I was wilding.
Like I said, I was wild, and you know, and I love that you said that though, that you chose not to go that route, because I feel the same way. Like, I feel like the ancestors and spirit led me away from music too, because I can easily use my gift and I could put some words together. That's my gift, words. Whether I'm writing, speaking, freestyling, whatever. Like my gift is being able to create art with words, with communication. So I could easily write some shit. You know what I'm saying? Humbly speaking, but I can really do that. But I know, like, I feel like the ancestors and spirit was like, nah, you're not going to get into that realm, because all you're going to do is be another participant in the genocide, you know what I'm saying, of the culture.
Yeah, it's going to
stain you. And I feel like that's where, you know, you were led by the righteous, you know what I'm saying, path versus going down the path of the currency. And clearly, as we see right now, that path is evaporating anyway. We're seeing it right before our very eyes. All those who dominated or who was very influential forces in that space, they no longer have that same, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are the ones now that are coming up to the forefront, to the top of the mountain, because we're the ones doing the work of the ancestors and of the creator. So it's like, you did it right. You know what I'm saying? It just, you know, the spoils go to the victor, you know, who has the patience and the discipline for the long run. You know what I'm saying? We in the marathon, shout out to Nick, we in the marathon. You know what I mean? So I'm not knocking nobody who got it out the mud the other way, but the way we doing it is for legacy and longevity. So it's like, and you're definitely doing that. Even if you never made another film or wrote the books or all the other projects you got coming, you already solidified yourself, you know what I'm saying, in the community that I know I respect, is because you already created a legacy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where, you know, the ancestors reward that. And that's real though. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the work, bro. Cause you know, I told you that on the very first call, like, bro, I've been, you know, studying and watching your work for a minute, man. So it's an honor, you know, to get the pleasure to, you know, meet you and to have this conversation for sure.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yes, sir.
Plus, you know, I got the elders behind me, bro.
Yeah.
And I can't let them down. You know, I get scolded.
You're the only one.
I get scolded, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I get set straight so many times. So this is like, you know, like I said, it's the integrity. And the other part of it is not, and this is the challenging thing, is to, you know, Kaba always tells me to own my greatness. Oh, you own your greatness. Don't be humble. You know what I mean? But I fight with not having an ego, because I see how a lot of brothers in this space have huge egos, and it burns them out. You know what I mean? That ego get control of you and turn you into a beast. So I wrestle with that a lot. You know, I'm very confident, but I always make it a point to keep my ego in check. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like Kaba said, own my greatness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's keeping that balance, bro.
Yeah.
It's all about balance. You know what I mean? It's all about my eye.
Nah, just about as you took the words out of my mouth, all about the principles of mind. That's facts, man. I'm the same way. Like I be having some of the tribe be getting on me, you know, about being too humble and all that. But that's just who I am, though. Like I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I feel like my work speaks for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I don't have to, you know, I don't have to talk no shit or buff my chest and nothing like that. But at the same time, I do get, you know, we do need to, you know, accept and appreciate, you know, the work that, you know, is being done. So I get it, because I kind of deal with some of that similarly as well. But you know, it is what it is, you know, but I give gratitude and thanks for the way, you know, the alignment happened and how this happened for us to, you know, have this conversation. I definitely look forward to hopefully having many more, man, and, you know, and doing some things together in person, man, for sure. Like, I definitely, you know, would love to be a part of any type of event. Hopefully we can get something cracking down here in my neck of the woods, man, and I look forward to coming out to your side.
I was gonna say, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely, man. For sure. Matter of fact, yeah, I'll let you know off air, because I'm definitely looking to put something together in Sacktown, hopefully in like maybe the early part of the summer. But definitely as I kind of get the thing streamlined and all that stuff, I definitely, you know, holler at you, because I wouldn't mind coming out there to Vegas, you know, and chopping it up out there and seeing what's going on.
It's gonna be hot in the summertime, brother.
Man. Yes, sir. So yeah, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming through. And I look forward to the next one, man. And so with that, you know, if you got any last words, you already gave a dope, you know, final statement. But if you have anything else you want to share with the tribe, matter of fact, before we get out here, can you let everybody know where they can find you, your YouTube?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Socials, website, you know, any and everything, the docs, everything. Yes, sir.
So my handle is at Amadeus Christ. Instagram at Amadeus Christ. Instagram at Out of Darkness Film. I think we got like almost 20K over there on Instagram. My YouTube channel, we just hit, I think we are like 107,000 subscribers right now. So we just hit, I got the plaque. You know what I'm saying? I got the plaque in the back of me.
Yes, sir. I know that's right. Can't wait to be mine, boy. Look, I need y'all to help me, try. I need about 75,000 in this thing, man. Get that good plaque.
So the YouTube is Building 7, SE7EN, Building 7. That's the YouTube channel. And then the films are basically on every streaming platform. We just hit Tubi a couple months ago, so you could watch all 3 films on Tubi. Matter of fact, if you go to the Instagram, if you go to the Out of Darkness Instagram, Out of Darkness Film Instagram, it's got the link tree in there, and it got all the links to the film. But like I said, we are on Amazon, we on Fandango, we on Vudu, we on YouTube Movies, Google Play, Tubi, cable streaming, on demand. Like it's everywhere, bro. So all you got to do is do a simple search. Out of Darkness is the first OG film, 2016, and then we got Heavy as the Crown in 2 volumes, So volume 1 and volume 2. So you just do a search. Oh, outofdarknessfilm.com is the main website too. So that's got all the links on there. Support your brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need that, man. And what I'll do too, I always put the I'll put all your links and everything into the socials, to the channel,
okay,
to the film, everything in the show description. So once I get it, everything's downloaded and it's actually going live, I'll have all the handles in the show description as well, family. So y'all can always check the show descriptions. I think some people do, but a lot of people don't, because I be seeing the comments, hey, where can I find, how can I get in touch with so and so? I'm at the point now I just kind of copy and paste, but I put all that in the show descriptions, to make sure that everybody can support all the guests.
Put it in the comment section and then pin it to the top.
Right. I gotta start doing that too. You're right. Definitely gotta start doing that. That's what's up. But nah, man, I definitely appreciate you, brother. And like I said, I'll continue to support. I'll definitely be sharing, all the links in the socials and all that good stuff. And I definitely look forward to, seeing the new projects coming up, especially the Detroit one, and then, the big one too, man. So I'll definitely be in touch and, see when we can make it happen again, and hopefully in the near future, brother.
Let's do it, man. Appreciate you for having me on, man. I enjoyed myself.
Yes, sir. Likewise, man. So family, I appreciate y'all, Tribe, for coming through, doing what you do, showing love. And we'll see y'all. We might be back tomorrow. I have to confirm that, but we'll definitely see y'all in the very near future, family. Brother Amadeus, I'll definitely be in touch with you, man. Once again, it was an honor and a pleasure, brother. I look forward to the next time, and I'll see you again soon.
Peace.
All right, family. We'll see y'all in the next episode. We out. Peace.
Tẹ́ntẹ́ni takisa ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your